32 classic Who stories, latest one added to my collection, Remembrance of the Daleks, the first serial of the 25th season of Doctor Who, first broadcast in 4 parts from the 5th to the 26th of October 1988. Now, 1988 was technically Doctor Who's 25th anniversary, and while I do believe that the actual anniversary fell somewhere in the middle of Silver Nemesis, I have actually done a video on that particular set of episodes. I'll try and leave it in the card or down below in the description. Now, while that particular story is technically the 50th anniversary, no, not the 50th, the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who, they do also manage to sneak in a few small passing references in this particular set of episodes, just to show they are aware it is 25 years since the show began. Now, in this particular story, the Seventh Doctor, portrayed once again by Sylvester McCoy, and his companion Ace, end up back in London in 1963. Now, they are primarily there because the Doctor wishes to retrieve something called the Hand of Omega, a kind of Time Lord relic that he previously left there in the 60s. Which, of course, is the 60s, but you know what, fair enough. However, when they get there, they find not only the military kind of scoping around the place, but also strange things going on, including 2 sets of Daleks having a war against each other. You got the Imperial Daleks, led by the Dalek Emperor, who, we'll come back to that later, and a set of Renegade Daleks. Now, the Daleks having a civil war, the Doctor doesn't mind so much about. I mean, if they get caught in the crossfire and they destroy each other, fair enough. They're the most homicidal creatures in the universe. You can't really complain about that. However, he doesn't want humans getting caught in the crossfire, so he ends up kind of teaming up with, I think it's UNIT, it might just be ordinary military, but I believe it's UNIT, in order to try and work out how to effectively get the Daleks away from Earth, how to stop them getting the Hand of Omega, and how to get everything back to normal. Now, as I said, while the real 25th anniversary fell somewhere in the middle of Silver Nemesis, this one does drop a few hints to show it's aware it's been 25 years. For example, the reappearance of Coal Hill School is one of the main locations in this particular story, with the Doctor ultimately discovering Daleks kind of coming through via teleport underneath the school in the basement, the reappearance of the I.M. Foreman scrapyard, first seen back in An Unearthly Child, and briefly when Ace is staying at the house of one of the characters, she ends up turning on the TV, and as she exits the scene, we can see it seemingly starts to introduce Doctor Who's first episode, An Unearthly Child. Nice little nod to the audience there for that, which is a nice touch. Now, the characters who they encounter in this particular story, they include a various bunch, including Group Captain Gilmore, kind of the captain of the situation, played by Simon Williams, who's very much a man of, he wants to get things done, but then when things start to get bad, he's like, the Doctor's like, will you listen to me? And I was like, have I got a choice? Which, yeah, you can tell he wants to do what's right and wants to protect as many people as possible, but he's also a stickler, so you can tell he's trying his best, but then he knows when to succeed, or secede. You've got a scientific advisor with him named Professor Rachel Jensen, played by Pamela Salem, she's kind of, once again, quite uptight about her field, but then is very much willing to listen to the Doctor, then when he keeps skirting her question, she's like, oh, come on, I'm getting annoyed at this now. Just, will you please answer just one simple question? Which is kind of nice to see. She's a character who sticks firm to her principles. You've also got I believe, an assistant with her named Alison Williams, played by Karen Gledhill, who's a nice touch. There's also a sergeant named Mike Smith, played by Dursley McClendon, who is shown to have a very good relationship with Ace. I mean, he even offers that when this is all over, maybe they can go to the pictures together. But then we find out later he's been working with a man called Ratcliffe, played by George Sewell, who's actually working with the Daleks. I mean, he believes he's going to be offered immense power afterwards, but the Daleks then say, no, you are our prisoner, you will do as we say. There's also the headmaster of Coal Hill School, who I believe is being controlled by the Daleks. I believe he gets killed partway through, but he's a nice obstacle for them to face off against. And then the Daleks have also seemingly taken control of a small girl, played by Jasmine Breaks, a student. She's a student at Coal Hill School, presumably, but then when she's under the control, she's kind of sinister. I mean, little girls in horror movies often are sinister, or even just in TV episodes, they can be quite sinister. And she really is sinister here. Like, she'll just turn up to a situation, just stare at people, and they're like, "What are you looking at?" And she'll just suddenly disappear, and she's very rather sinister. I think she loses a bit of kind of drama when she is actually allowed to speak and is kind of placed in control. She has like a control chair where she can kind of report to the Daleks, which I kind of think she loses a bit there. But you know what? She's still a pretty sinister character. And this set of episodes also had a lot of iconic moments, including the Daleks' first case of elevation. You, we all know at this point the Daleks can fly, but this is actually the first occasion of it. I mean, to make sure the Daleks weren't easily grounded and couldn't easily be defeated by a flight of stairs, this was actually the first story to introduce the concept of Dalek elevation, coming at the end of part one, when the Doctor is seemingly locked in the cellar by the headmaster, and a Dalek is elevating up the stairs to him. And that actually looks pretty scary. There's also Ace beating up a Dalek with a baseball bat, which, okay, is a little crude, and okay, yes, the baseball bat has been kind of blessed by the hand of Omega to make it more powerful, but still, Ace beating up a Dalek, one of our kind of horror monsters from our childhood, suddenly seeing a girl beat one up with a baseball bat, it's pretty cool to see. And it does also have one of my favourite quotes from Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. At one point in the episode, he says to Ace he needs to be alone for a while, so he goes back to a cafe and ends up talking with the owner of the cafe, and he ends up delivering a set of lines of, "Every great decision creates ripples, like a huge boulder dropped in a lake," which he kind of explains by saying, "What if humanity moved past the need for sugar? If we had no longer had no need for sugar, then people wouldn't need to farm it, and therefore sugar farmers wouldn't end up with food on their tables. The people who farm sugar, they wouldn't be needed anymore." Just a small thing of having sugar in your tea, and but then not having that, and suddenly it creates ripples, and you don't consider it. Which was actually a very deep thing to think about. Now, the one thing that I kind of questioned a little bit in this episode, or set of episodes, is there's a form of Dalek racism. I kind of, when they're down, at one point, I believe it's in part 4, when they're down in the cellars, they ask, "Well, why are there two factions of Daleks?" So the Doctor gets Ace to explain, and Ace is like, "Okay, you've got the Imperial Daleks, they're blobby Daleks. And then you've got the Renegade Daleks, they're blobby with bits attached. Now, the blobby Daleks, they're purists. They believe that all Daleks should be blobby Daleks. And so, therefore, they hate the blobby Daleks with bits attached and therefore want to destroy them." So I was thinking, okay, so the Daleks have a form of racism. I mean, that's not really. I shouldn't really be surprised about that because, well, if you know what the Daleks are actually based on, or kind of what you view them as over the years, then yeah, it does kind of make sense. But just have a form of racism with the Daleks just seemed odd to me. But you know what? I actually still felt this was an enjoyable set of episodes. And while I admit the Dalek racism did seem a bit odd, the rest of it, you know what? I enjoyed. I actually felt it was a very enjoyable set of episodes. So, Remembrance of the Daleks, I give it a thumbs up. What will be my next classic story? Well, I don't necessarily know. I mean, I have seen people say that Remembrance of the Daleks is best viewed along with previous Dalek stories, Revelation of the Daleks and Resurrection. So, yeah, I don't know. Also, the one last thing I was going to mention, towards the end of the episode, towards the end of part 4, they reveal that the Imperial Dalek Emperor is actually Davros, played by Terry Malloy, who I admit it's good to see him here, but I personally felt that Davros here may have been a little bit tacked on, given that he only appears really towards the end of part 4, and I just felt you could have introduced him earlier and had some fun with him, but yeah, it's nice to see him, but you know what, I feel they could have done more with him. So there you go, Remembrance of the Daleks. Will it be my next Doctor Who classic adventure? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. Until then, see ya.